You've seen it, right? The perfect project plan that just completely falls apart by week 2. Look, that isn't a planning problem. It's a fear of the unknown problem. Today, I'm going to show you the one simple agile technique that the top teams use to kill that uncertainty and actually deliver on time every single time.
You know that feeling. Your sprint is just humming along, everything's great, and then bam! One single unanswered question brings the entire thing to a dead stop. Suddenly, your deadline looks impossible, your manager is breathing down your neck for updates, and you just feel stuck. Honestly, it's a career killer. But what if you could see those roadblocks before they even pop up?
For years, I thought the answer was just more planning, more detailed plans. I'd spend weeks on documentation, trying to predict every little problem. And you know what? It never worked, because the real world is messy. The huge mistake I was making, and it's the same one most teams make, is trying to plan away the uncertainty. You can't do that. You have to investigate it. Think of it like a flashlight. It's not there to show you the entire path ahead, just the very next step, so you can take it with total confidence.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to face the real cost of all that uncertainty. Then, I'll break down exactly what a spike is and give you a 4-step blueprint to run one perfectly. We'll even cover the common traps you need to avoid, and I promise, I'll leave you with a super simple plan to put this all into action, like this week. Okay, let's get real for a second about what uncertainty actually costs you. It's not just a delay in the schedule, it's a total confidence killer. It completely shatters your team's focus. It burns through the project budget. And yeah, it puts your reputation right on the line when those deadlines start slipping. I call these questions sprint killers. Seriously, each one is like a black hole, just waiting to swallow your project's timeline whole. And here's the thing, when you just guess at the answers, you're not saving any time. All you're doing is creating a mountain of future rework and basically guaranteeing you're going to miss that deadline.
So how do we fight back against all this uncertainty? Well, the agile answer is something called a spike. Just think of it like a targeted exploration mission. It's your chance to gather intel before you commit your whole team to a full-scale development battle.
Okay, and this right here is probably the most important rule of all. A spike does not deliver working code. It delivers an answer. That's it. Think of it as a mini mission. Your one and only goal is to find that one piece of information you need to get your team unstuck so you can all move forward with 100% confidence. The deliverable isn't a feature, it's clarity. Yeah, this detective analogy is seriously the best way to think about it. You're not building the house yet. Nope, you're the detective on the case, gathering clues, solving the mystery of how we're going to do this. That way, when your team finally does start building, they do it right the first time. No rework, no wasted effort, just clean execution. And these spikes, they pretty much come in 2 main flavors. You've got your technical spike. That's for questions like, hey, can our system even handle this new API? Then you have your functional spike. This is more about clarifying what the business actually needs, like what's the absolute easiest way for a user to complete this task. At the end of the day, both are all about one thing, reducing risk. Okay, so now we know what a spike is. But why should you actually care? Simple. Because using them the right way can be a complete game changer for your projects. It's how you turn all that guesswork and anxiety into pure strategy and precision. Let me show you how this completely transforms your projects. First, your estimates become way more accurate. I mean, you literally stop guessing and start knowing. Second, you eliminate huge risks. You see the landmines before your project steps right on them. And third, your team's speed, their velocity, just skyrockets because you've already solved the toughest problems before the sprint even kicks off. All right, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put a spike into action? Don't worry, I got you. Let's walk through a simple, practical blueprint you can use with your team, like tomorrow. Here it is, 4 simple steps. Step 1, define a crystal clear goal. Step 2, put a strict time limit on it. This part is super important. Step 3, document and share everything you learned. And finally, step 4, use that new knowledge to refine your project backlog. And this right here is why step 1 is so critical. A bad goal sounds like, investigate database options. That's a black hole, you'll be lost for days. A great goal sounds like this. Evaluate MongoDB versus PostgreSQL specifically for our real-time processing needs. You see the difference? One is a vague wish, the other is a specific, answerable question. That's the kind of clarity you're aiming for.
Now, spikes are incredibly powerful, but you gotta be careful. They can definitely be misused. To really get the most out of them, you need to know the common traps that teams fall into. So, let's take a look at what not to do. So, you gotta watch out for these 3 pitfalls. First is what I call the escape route. This is when a team is just afraid to commit, so they use a spike to put off making a tough decision. Second, the vague quest. This is starting to spike without that specific answerable question we just talked about. And third, over-reliance. Look, if it feels like every single task needs a spike, that's a huge red flag that your project's main goals aren't clear enough to begin with. All right, you get the what, the why, and the how. Now it's time to make this real. Here is your super simple plan to start using spikes in your workflow, starting with your very next meeting. Here's your 3-step plan to start today. Seriously, in your very next meeting, the second you hear someone say, we're not sure about that, I want you to jump in. Step 1, stop the conversation and help the team boil the problem down to one single clear question. Step 2, propose a short, time-boxed spike to go find the answer. Step 3, when the spike is done, make sure the team shares the knowledge they gained, not just the final yes or no answer. You know, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Using a spike isn't a sign of weakness. It's not a failure to plan. It is a strategic tool. It's that flashlight we talked about, the one you use to light up the path ahead, turning a project's biggest risks into your team's greatest strengths. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Are you just managing tasks, or are you engineering solutions? Because let's be real, in a world where AI is getting better and better at managing tasks, it's the engineers, the real problem solvers, who are going to be irreplaceable. The choice is totally yours. And to make sure this all sticks, just remember these 3 things. 1, uncertainty is the real enemy, not your team's skill level. 2, a spike's only goal is knowledge, not code. And 3, being the person who suggests a spike doesn't make you an obstacle, it makes you a leader.